I don't allow childhood trauma to transfer to my kids. All I want is for my child to be an emotionally healthy child. That's a very common question that comes through my parenting coaching practice. And on this podcast episode, I'm going to break down for you 4 common childhood trauma or childhood wounds, how they could present unconsciously, subconsciously in our parenting. And from that awareness, you can start showing up in a different way to make sure that your children grow up as emotionally healthy individuals, as people who feel confident about themselves, as people who feel securely attached to self and to others. Hello, my name is Marcela Collier. Welcome to another episode of the Parenting with Understanding podcast. I am your host. I am a certified parenting coach and founder of HIC Parenting Education Agency. My team of coaches and I have helped 14,151 parents break free from reactivity, bring peace to their parenting, and raise emotionally healthy children. If you are watching us from YouTube, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel. If not, subscribe to our podcast. Every week we release a new episode. Okay, so I'm going to break down these 4 wounds, how they present in your parenting. These are subconscious ways that they present. I don't believe that parents are consciously trying to put trauma on their kids, but they show up in a conscious way. So from that awareness, you can rewire and redesign the way that you show up for your kids to make sure they grow up as emotionally healthy people. Number 1, the wound of emotional neglect. Emotional neglect. So I saw a mom on YouTube. It was a reality show. She has a 3-year-old and they were in some kind of dance class and they were getting ready to do a performance, to practice for a performance. Well, the toddler, older toddler, about 3 years old, she clearly looked stressed. She clearly looked a little overwhelmed. She clearly looked a little nervous. And when a 3-year-old has all those feelings, they don't maturely come and tell you, hey, mom, I have a little anxiety about the performance. Help me regulate my emotions. They don't do that. They just act it out through behavior, through tantrums, through whining, through not listening to the teacher. And that was what this child was doing. So the mom created, or the mom thought about a solution to fix the behavior. She did not see the feelings. She did not see the needs beneath the behavior. She just wanted the child to be compliant, to not be so disruptive in fitness class, in the dance class. So she removed the child. They went to an empty fitness room. It was a dark, empty fitness room. And then she told the child that she was in timeout. She left the child there. She left the room. She closed the door and she locked the door. As the child stayed inside with her little fingers poking under the door and calling for her mom. The mom, I'm sure she's not consciously saying, hey, I'm emotionally neglecting my daughter. But that's basically what she was doing. That was emotional neglect. So if you grew up in an environment that not all your feelings were accepted, that you got isolated or you got rejected or you were emotionally abandoned in a way, left by yourself to deal with all your big emotions because the adults in your life did not help you, then you may have an emotional neglect wound from childhood. And it could show up in these kind of ways. Possible the mom lived the same thing growing up. So the way to solve this is when we see a behavior, to not just stay at just trying to fix the behavior, look beneath it, look about the needs, look about the needs, look the feelings, and address the needs and feelings beneath the behaviors. As imagine this, it just replay what this could have been. The child was having a hard time in that dance class. The mom comes in, removes the child out of the group, goes to the fitness room, the empty fitness room, stays with the child, validates her feelings, talks about her emotions, helps her take deep breaths, helps her calm down, tell her that she's safe, tell her that she is going to do great, and that it's very normal to feel nervous. How will this child feel afterwards? This child is going to feel heard, supported, and she is going to build the resiliency to go back to the group and have a better time. Whereas this case, I didn't see the entire clip, but the child got even more dysregulated. She wasn't just tantruming, but now she was in a complete crisis meltdown because she felt abandoned, because she felt emotionally neglected. You can break the cycle with your children in very simple ways like this. Now, you might say, Marcela, but I feel that it's hard for me to stay calm when my children are in their chaos. How do I not yell? How do I remain a collected, secure parent at that moment? How do I help them understand and process their feelings if I have a hard time processing my own? I heard you, and that's exactly what we do in HIC Parenting Education. We equip parents with the tools to break their cycle of reactivity. If you want to be a more secure parent, calmer parent this year, I have an invitation for you. There is a free class where I show you the system to break free from those anger reactions so you can be calm and peaceful when you are helping your child. To access this class, all you have to do is go to hicparenting.com, or it's in the description below. hicparenting.com, or it's in the description below. If you are watching from YouTube, open the description below this video, or if you are listening to the podcast, open the description and the link is there. This is a free class, and you are going to learn the system that we teach our coaching clients to break free from reactivity and feel a lot more peaceful in their parenting. Number 2, rejection, the wound of rejection. So just imagine, I don't know if this might be you. You grew up in a performance-driven environment. You were accepted as long as you were meeting adults' expectations. When you were behaving under their expectations, or when you were not meeting up to what they were expecting from you, then you got rejected. You got rejected by being criticized, being shamed, or by minimizing the progress that you've made. That might look like, oh, okay, that's good that you passed the test, but I wasn't an A. You're not a straight A student anymore. What's wrong with you? Or I know that you can do better. That's rejection. They're rejecting your efforts. They're rejecting your reality. They're rejecting what you might have gone through at the moment that got you a B and not an A. They are more focused. They were more focused on your results, and they value your results over you. So that creates this wound of rejection. How that might show up in your parenting in several ways. When your children are not meeting milestones, let's just say that your child is 3.5, and then you see all your older mom friends and their children are younger and they're already potty trained. And then you're already comparing your child to their children, you're comparing yourself to them, and then you are kind of feeling guilty or feeling shameful, or what is the right feeling there? What is the feeling? Feeling that you are not enough, that you are failing in a way because their children are already potty trained. How come my child is 3.5, almost 4, and still wearing diapers? So that could be a subtle way that the wound of rejection is showing up, because you're very focused on the results. You put the results at a higher value than even what your child is going through. Maybe he's having a hard time going through potty training stage because daddy just got deployed and he's living a different rough time in his life and it's just hard. Or maybe you have a new baby and you just haven't gotten around the time to really focus on, okay, I'm going to potty train my toddler because I'm with this baby and it's just hard. So that's a way that, in a subtle way, that wound, that childhood wound of rejection shows up in your parenting. And you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and then you try to potty train your child against the ads, against their will. You don't read their readiness cues. You don't read your own emotional cues, because if we go with this example of potty training, it's not just about being physically ready. It's about being emotionally ready. And it doesn't have to do just with emotional readiness for the child, but am I emotionally ready as a parent to go through potty training? Am I emotionally ready as a parent to deal with constant accidents back to back for days? I'm already sleep deprived because I have a new baby. Am I emotionally ready to go through sleep deprived plus potty training my toddler? So we're very hard on ourselves. We place high expectations. That fills us with anxiety, and that takes us to react in ways we don't want to react to our kids. That's how the wound of rejection shows up. And then we go on to the wound of unpredictability. Predictability. I want to call it scar because it's really a scar. The scar of unpredictability. So in this case, you might have grown up with an inconsistent type of parenting. Maybe you were punished and you were scolded and your parents punished you for things that they allowed you the day before. Or it seemed like your caregivers were respectful or were considerate of you as long as they were calm, as long as they were having a good time, as long as they had a good day. But the days that they had hard days at work, or that they were having hard days between each other, then they got really authoritarian with you, and you were in kind of like in this roller coaster of emotions. You did not know what kind of parent you were going to wake up to. This creates the scar of unpredictability. So what happens when we have this scar? We tend subconsciously to repeat the cycles if we're not aware of it. So we start bouncing back and forth between being peaceful, being calm, validating our children, showing up for our children emotionally, to boom, yelling, to boom, I'm tired of you, to boom, enough is enough, shut up, and just put your shoes on. And then we feel guilty and we go back to the other extreme. There is no gray. It is either black or white. We're either yelling or we are considerate. But there is no balance. There is no accountability and acceptance merged together. That's because of the scar of predictability. The way to break through this scar so your child doesn't grow up with it is to work on yourself so you can break free from that reactivity So when you are not feeling calm and peaceful, you can still have calm responses, safe responses, and not reactive yelling responses. And we do this in coaching. And by the way, I'm going to show you the system on how to gain these skills in the free class that I was telling you in the beginning. So that's the wound or the scar of unpredictability. Emotional invalidation. That's number 4. Emotional invalidation. Emotional invalidation happens when we were minimized, our experience was minimized or gaslit. What's the word there? I don't know if it's gaslit or gaslighted. I'm a second language learner, by the way. So what happens in this case? I'm going to tell you a real life story of mine because I grew up with a childhood scar. And if I'm not aware, it shows up in my parenting from time to time. So I was with my kids. I don't remember where we were at. We were at home, but it was kind of like bedtime. Yes, bedtime when they want to get all their words out. They want to process all their feelings. Is that your child as well? They want to talk about their day. They want to talk about their feelings. They want to talk about what's happening tomorrow. All that at bedtime. So that's my children. And one of them, he said, "You ignore me when I'm crying." And then I gaslit him. I said, "No, that's not true. I don't ignore you when you're crying. When you're crying, I usually go to you and I hug you and I try to help you," which I actually do. But why did I gaslight my child? Because I did not validate, I did not recognize his reality, his experience. He is living and processing his world through his eyes. So instead of trying to see what was he processing through his eyes, I went right to denial and gaslighting and denying his experience, because my experience is the real experience, not yours. I know that I go to you and I try to hug you and I try to help you. And what happened? Awareness came to me. I've been on this work for a long time, since 2012. Awareness came to me and I said, oof, I was gaslighting my child. So I apologized and I said, okay, if you feel that way, that's your truth. Could you please tell me? I got curious. Could you please tell me why you're saying those things? Because from what I remember, when you cry, I go and I try to help you and hug you and help you with your feelings. What has been your experience? And they say, yeah, but not all the time. Sometimes I cry and you're still in the office working. And I was thinking, I'm like, he's right. He's right. I work from home and I have a set schedule. In the morning, I work while they're at school. When they come back from school, I'm with them. I'm not working. But when Brian, my husband, comes from work, I go back to the office and he watches them until bedtime. So if I'm in the office and I hear crying at the other side, I'm not the parent at that moment. Brian is the one parenting. But my child, what he was trying to tell me is, Mom, I need you. At least come on, check on me. Even if it's my father, the one who's trying to help me regulate, calm down. Can you at least please come out of the office for 10 seconds and see if I'm okay? I wasn't doing that. I was just expecting Brian to handle everything just because he is the parent at that moment and I'm working. So he wasn't really feeling emotionally abandoned because his father is helping him at those moments, but he needs mommy as well. So I'm going to have to kind of like reorganize my working schedule. So in the morning when they go to school, I do all the work activities that I cannot be interrupted. And once they come from school, when Brian is watching them, I do all the back end office work that if I stop for a moment, let's just say I'm writing an email, it doesn't matter if I stop for 10 minutes, I could come back and keep writing. It's not like a Zoom call, it's not like I'm recording this podcast. So I'm going to start organizing my days. So if he does cry, I can meet his need that way, because that was his reality. His reality was, Mom, I need you too. And I feel ignored when you're in the office, and I cry and you don't come up. So let us recap. We have the emotional scar of emotional neglect, the scar of rejection, the scar of unpredictability, and the scar of emotional invalidation with gaslighting. That was a mouthful. I almost didn't say it. If you lived one or more of these scars, if you have one or more of these scars, the first step to success, or to not pass these scars, this trauma to your children, is being aware of them. So when you are, it's going to happen when it slips out, when you subconsciously do it, you can bring yourself back to your awareness and reroute the same way I did it when my son told me that I ignore him when he cries. I'm very curious, if you are watching from YouTube, which one of these 4 do you relate the most to? Let me know in the comments. And I want to invite you to leave us a positive review of the Parenting with Understanding podcast. If it has helped you bring awareness to your parenting, if it has helped you open your eyes and mind to understand your children and your needs a lot more, give us a positive review. It will help us get to more parents. If you are watching from YouTube, leave a comment, share it with your best friend. It will help us push the channel so I can make more of this content. Okay? I'll see you next time. And remember that it only takes understanding of yourself and of your children's needs to transform your parenting. That's Parenting with Understanding. See you next time. Ciao.